Baruch Dayan Hamet, we praise the Judge of Truth. If you have a cell phone or a pager and you're of my parents' generation, this would be a good time to turn it off or set it to stun. Okay. We begin with Psalm 121. It's a day where there are beautiful, beautiful sunshine, and it's a sad day, but Psalm 121 is always appropriate. Esai einai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yiten lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yiminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakaka ve'arech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmoret nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzeitcha avuecha me'ata va'ad olam. I lift my eyes to the mountains. From whence cometh my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken our beloved Gilbert Singerman. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Gibby's love that united so many people in life, and which death cannot sever. For his companionship that we shared along life's path, and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of his heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness, and is now a precious remembrance. For all of these and more, we give our thanks to God. It is a time of grief and a time of sadness. And so we listen once again to Sefer Tehillim, to the Book of Psalms, the voice of our sacred scriptures that brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. In the English, let us recite the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Many are the remembrances we have of Gibby, and we will hear some of them now. I'd like to call forward the children, Paul and Michael, Egon and Susie, to first eulogize your dear father.
I feel magnificent. I feel really, really great. It's a good day. Those are words my dad lived by. Every day was a good day. Even when his body was failing him, even when he couldn't swim, couldn't walk, couldn't catch his breath. "How you feeling, Pops?" I'd ask every time I called, and every time he'd say those same words. "I feel great." Well, the truth is today sucks. I'm really, really sad and scared and angry. Today doesn't feel like a good day. I thought my dad would live forever. But Dad, I've always looked up to you. I hear you, and I'm going to try and live by your words today. Mom, I'll never forget watching you care for Grandma Annie. In her last months, she lived with us, and I was in awe of your strength, physically and emotionally. And watching you care for Dad, I saw it again. You carried him, you sat with him, you fed him, you laughed with him, you schlepped him on outings, you got mad at us when we wouldn't. You were selfless, you never gave up. Your words, "I could do this forever," and I believe you could have. Today I'm still in awe of you, I admire you, I love you. Thank you so much for keeping Dad alive for so long. To my brothers, and especially my sisters-in-law, I am so, so, so grateful. The love, care, compassion, generosity, and patience that you all showed Mom and Dad this past year is words can't begin to describe. Hundreds of doctor's appointments, daily, nightly visits, text updates to me because I was out of town, helping Mom around the house, hours and hours of sitting with Dad, and so much more. You didn't stop. You were selfless, and I know Mom and Dad appreciated it, and I appreciated it too. Being away was so hard for me from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Every single person in this room has had the gift of Gibby. We are your children, your wife, your grandchildren, your family, your patient, your friend, your rabbi, your colleague. We are all so lucky. I'm thankful that the universe chose you to be my dad, and I'm happy for all the memories that I will have. I know that when I look up into the sky and see an airplane, it will always make me think of you. And at night, when I look up at the stars, they will no doubt seem a bit brighter now that you're up there. I love you, Pops. I'll miss you, and I promise we will all keep doing what we're doing down here.
And Susie just said, "And now for my 20 minutes." On behalf of our family, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. Dad would have really appreciated the outpouring of love and support for him. As you listen to us talk and as you listen to his grandkids talk, you'll notice a consistent theme in what people are going to say. These past several years have been a very trying time for our family as we struggled with Dad's illness. While the past couple of years were difficult, they were also so rewarding. During this time, we celebrated my parents' 60th wedding anniversary, my son's wedding, which we were able to live stream from Healdsburg, California, Dad's 82nd birthday, a wedding where Mom and Dad renewed their vows, and my nephew Will's bar mitzvah in Chicago, which again we were able to live stream for Mom and Dad. Each one of these occasions was very special and brought us closer together as a family. They say that adversity shows the true spirit of a person. Well, the adversity that our family went through while helping Dad through his illness showed our true spirit and strength and love for Dad and each other. Each and every one of us pulled together to help out and make sure that Dad had all the support and love that he needed while he struggled every single day. I have to especially thank my wife and my sister-in-laws, each of whom was incredible and treated Dad and Mom as if they had been born into the family. To our father, family was not only the most important thing, it was really the only thing. He always put family ahead of everything else. He would do anything for his family. He was the hardest working, most driven person I ever met. He passed those traits on to each of his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. He pushed each of us kids to get a professional degree. Whenever we wavered on our commitment to education, he would say, "Get a professional degree, they can never take it away from you." And he was right. Those professional degrees have served my brothers, my sister, and me very well throughout our lives. Our father led by example, and his example taught each of his children and grandchildren to not only be hardworking, but also respectful and kind to all people, and most importantly, to have a positive attitude. Dad never had a bad day. He was always upbeat and positive, even when things weren't going so great in his business or with his health. As a serial entrepreneur, he had his ups and his downs. He began his work as life as an electrician, went to night school, became an electrical contractor. He started his own electrical contracting company. He became a pilot, started an air charter company, building that company from a single airplane to a large company with dozens of aircraft and hundreds of employees. After that, he became the owner and president of Wright Airlines. His love for aviation also compelled Dad to get involved with the Cleveland National Air Show. In the mid-'70s, he brought the show back to Cleveland and built it into the world-class show that it has become. The air show was a true labor of love for Dad, and he was extremely proud of what it became under his guidance and leadership. In his spare time, Dad was chairperson of the board of Cuyahoga Community College and helped Cindy Lauper launch her career. Later in his life, he sold insurance as a New York life agent, and finally, he sold LED lights. To Dad, attitude was everything. He was the most upbeat, positive person you ever met. People just loved to be around him. No matter what was going on in his life, if you asked him how he was doing, his response was inevitably terrific. Throughout his illness, he maintained his positive attitude to the very end. When asked, he was always great. The attitude he had was infectious. I remember an appointment with Dr. Oliveira, his cardiologist, a year or so ago, and the doctor asked Dad how he was doing. It was obvious he wasn't doing very well. He couldn't stand. He was in distress. But Dad said, "Terrific." The doctor smiled, and he said that he loved seeing Dad because he always made his day. He said none of his other patients were ever terrific. So, Dad treated every single person with the utmost respect and kindness. Didn't matter if you were the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or the pool boy at Turnberry Isle. Dad treated you as if you were the most important person in the world. When Mom and Dad went to Florida for the winter, Dad would go to breakfast each morning, and he'd bring back bagels for the valet guys, the security people at the front desk, and the pool attendants. He did the same thing for us in Cleveland on Sunday mornings when we had young families. Every Sunday morning, he'd drop off bagels on our doorstep. Sometime he'd stop in and have a bagel and coffee with us, but most of the time he'd just drop off the bagels and be on his way. He would even drop off bagels at our friends' houses. My parents' relationship has been a true inspiration for each of their children and their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. For more than 60 years, my parents were inseparable. They loved and respected each other, and most importantly, supported each other through thick and thin. Mom's strength, dedication, and commitment to Dad over these past several years has been unbelievable. She threw herself into becoming Dad's primary caregiver and devoted herself to making sure he was always comfortable and well cared for. The 60-year bond seemingly grew stronger and stronger as Dad became sicker and sicker. Their relationship is an amazing love story and a true inspiration to us all. As I said, these past couple of years have been difficult. Dad fought bravely and never gave up. We trust that Dad is now at peace and is in a better place. Dad, we love you. We miss you with all of our hearts. Thank you.
And to all of those words, let us say amen. Right. Paul and Kim, Michael and Jill, Egon, Suzanne, Susie. Now the grandchildren. Annie, Sherry, Zach might be coming up. Scott, Roshni, Alec, Jordan, Zach, Kyle, Justin, Emery, AJ, Will. There wasn't enough room last time. Now there won't be enough room this time. That's okay. Some of them are so tall, you can stand down here and still be taller than me. Hey, did I miss anybody? All right. 4 of them talking. Shari is bringing up the rear.
So I'm Gibby's oldest grandson, Scott. I'm here with all of his grandchildren. And, you know, individually, between Shari and myself and Zach and Alec, we all had a lot to say about our Papa Gibby. And, you know, I think in a way that was truly reflective of the spirit of our family, we all came together last night at my Nana Gail's house, and we prepared what we're about to share with you. So I think our Papa Gibby would be proud of the way we did that. And you know, I want to start by thanking you all for being here on what is a sad day. And I know it's a sad day because death is sad. It's associated with solemn people in dark clothing, trembling voices, and tear-filled eyes. It's associated with condolence calls and with thoughts and prayers. Death it's hard. But it's also hard to be sad when there's so much life to celebrate. And I think there are very few people in this world that celebrate the gift of life on a daily basis more than our Papa Gibby did. Papa Gibby was a constant expression of gratitude, a poster child for relentless optimism and self-determination. This optimism was clearest in the phrases he often repeated to us, his Gibbyisms.
If you knew my grandfather, I know you've heard them over and over. Papa Gibby loved repeating catchy, short slogans, and I'll admit that when I was a kid, I rolled my eyes at them. But over the last several months, as his health deteriorated, I began to reflect on the genius of his sentiment. Papa was able to distill 82 years of knowledge into a collection of phrases, and in doing so, he influenced the trajectory of the lives of everyone on the stage and standing off the stage. One of his favorites was, and you've already heard it once, get a piece of paper they can't take away from you. And I have no idea who the they was in that saying, but Papa Gibby watched so much Fox News, so I'm guessing that he was referring to the government. or Hillary Clinton. It was Hillary. It was Papa Gibby, so it was probably Hillary Clinton. I do know, though, that the piece of paper he was referring to was a degree. Even if you didn't want to listen, he would tell you all about his grandkid's success, and he may throw in a couple of exaggerations there. On top of his insistence on an education, he instilled in us other values. Don't let anyone work harder than you, he would often say. He lived this ideology every day of his life. Papa Gibby embodied hard work, tenacity, grit, and confidence more than anyone else I know. He was up before the sun every morning, in the pool, doing his workouts, even though years of football had left him basically without knees. He enjoyed great success through much of his life. You heard a bunch of it from my Uncle Paul, but more important to him than his own success were his children and grandchildren's accomplishments. He was so proud of all of us, and I like to selfishly think that he hung on until Sunday because he knew the bar exam results came out Friday, and he wanted to brag to his friends in heaven.
Make every day a good day was another one of his sayings. Every Sunday growing up, I would hear those words come out of my papa's mouth as he would take me to Sunday school while listening to opera and driving in his white Mercedes convertible. It was my favorite day of the week, not because of Sunday school, sorry, Rabbi, but because that was our time. Every Sunday, Papa would wake up early, work out, go to breakfast, and buy bagels for the whole family. He would drive around South Euclid dropping off dozens of bagels to each house. Our house was the last stop, where he would eat his second breakfast, always taking a bite of his bagel and a sip of his coffee before he was done chewing. This was his time to catch up with my dad and tell him about what person needs his help or how my dad can help the person in need. I loved sitting with them and listening to my papa before he would finish his mornings by taking me to Sunday school. In the car, I would hang on to every word. As I watched him sing opera between his stories and his life lessons of optimism and helping the world out one person at a time. That is who Gibby was, a man of optimism, love for his family, and helping everyone and anyone he would come in contact with.
This lesson, make every day a good day, inspires me and has shaped my core values. I was 20 miles away from Solon, finishing up my 14-hour drive from Nebraska when I got the phone call that Papa had passed away. I was on my way home for a week of vacation, specifically to see family and friends. After hearing the news, I started to think about the few hours of breaks I took during the drive and how if I would have just powered through it, I could have gotten back to see Papa alive. A few miles passed, and I started to think about the last time that we were all together, Nana and Papa's 60th anniversary. And I remember the look of pure joy that Papa had on his face when he walked in and he saw his entire family under one roof. And that image overwhelmed any grief I had. That image will be the lasting memory I have of Papa, that look of pure joy. As I'm standing here looking at the faces of family that I don't get to see all too often enough, I realize that this day is not a sad day, but a blessing. We're all here together again, honoring the life of Papa Gibby and everything that he has accomplished. We're honoring the man that has always seen more potential in us than we have ever seen in ourselves. I'll be living my life by his motto, every day is a good day, working towards reaching the potential that he has always seen in me.
Gibby was a great man. And I suspect that most truly great men, as they advance along their journey in life, they start to think about their own legacy. And Gibby was a great man, so what's his legacy? I think perhaps the most obvious place to look is at his 4 children, all exceptional in their own right, and all under the same roof, together, taking turns by his side when he passed on Sunday. Let's think about that for a moment. Not only about how he passed peacefully, surrounded by his wife and children until the very end, but also about how the entire family rallied around him for the last 18 months, finding strength in his strength, even when he was physically at his weakest. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it, and I couldn't be more proud to be a Singerman. That's legacy. Gibby laid the foundation for what it means to be a Singerman.
Gibby leaves his legacy of a true patriarch, the backbone, the glue that held this family together. Nana and Papa established the importance of family. They showed us the true meaning of dedication, love, commitment, hard work, and family over everything. My dad, mom, uncles, and aunts have taken the values that Nana and Papa have demonstrated to them and have created this close-knit family that we are today. This is why I know that despite the purpose of gathering, despite the casket, despite the solemn people in dark clothes, despite the tears and condolences, it's not a possibility for Gibby to leave us. His ideology is the Singerman ideology. And so it's only fitting that I look at everyone up here with me, my family, all of Gibby's grandchildren, and we leave with one last Gibbyism. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Love you.
And to those words, let us, as a prayer, let us say Amen. Of the children, I'm closest with one of them, and I promised him and his wife that if the if the children and grandchildren covered the waterfront, I would say just amen. I just need to say one other thing before I say amen, because, you know, they've said so many things. I just want to tell you how Gibby and Gail met. So they were married on June 16th, 1957, 6 months after she graduated high school. He went to Shaker, and this is how they met. It's the best. She was at a Tri-Gamma meeting, because she went to Heights, and the Shaker boys would come, 1955, they would come after the meeting, you know, just to see the Heights girls. And he met her. Gail said they didn't really talk about anything important at those meetings, but after the meeting, she met him, and this was 2 years before they before they got married. He asked her, and I quote, if she wanted to go watch the submarine races. Now, to anybody in our generation or older, we know, you know, let's go to the lake and, you know, let's park the car. Gail didn't say whether she went to watch the submarine races or not. But, you know, in a day with so much seriousness and so much sadness, there is so much to smile about, so much to be joyful about. And they were married then, June 16th, 1957, and shared a life of more than 61 years together. His parents, William and Sarah, of blessed memory. He was one of 3 children. Gibby is the eldest. His brother Larry, wife Margaret, his brother Bert, wife Ellen, their nieces and nephews and great-nieces and great-nephews. And so the family has allowed us to send along a couple of prayer books in the casket with him, machzorim, prayer books from the High Holy Days, because not only is it a mitzvah to escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, but also holy books of our tradition. And so he breathed his last, and his soul returns to God. And his soul goes to a time, it's called Olam Haba, the world to come. Olam Haba is not a place. This is a place. Olam Haba is a time. And when each of us breathes his last or her last, God will take care of our souls, as God will take care of the soul of your dear Gibby. And so we are grateful for these many years together. Would have hoped for more. Would have hoped for more in better health. And so we thank God for the gift of this life. Conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai natan, v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Let us say, Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon the soul of Gilbert Singerman, Gershon Ben Velvo Vasima. And let us say, Amen. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of Gibby Singerman. For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamitzeh Menucha Nechona, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, את נשמת גרשן בן ולבו וסימה, שהלך לעולמו, בעל הרחמים. יסתירהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Gilbert Singerman. He has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. In a moment, the funeral directors will come forward and give us instructions as we go in procession to Mount Olive Cemetery. Then we are going to be back at the house, 36665 Aberdeen Lane. We'll do some prayers when we get back to the house, considering the size and the slow-moving nature of this train. We probably will be back at the house in about an hour and a half from now, and the family will be there until 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, 4 to 7. Tomorrow, 2 to 4 and 4 to 7 to 9, and Thursday, 2 to 4 and 7 to 9, and Friday, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If you care to make donations in Gibby's loving memory, the family has graciously named the Hospice of the Western Reserve or Temple Israel Ner Tamid for the good works that they do and we do. And he'll be on the Kaddish list at our synagogue and others as well for the next 30 days. So this concludes our service here at this point.